Once upon a time, in the land of higher Himalayas, 8 experienced and highly skilled riders set out on a journey of a lifetime.
All good? Sorry, man. All okay? Good.
So their ride began from the beautiful yet chaotic city of Delhi. Riding in the scorching heat, they reached Mundi and rode to Jispa the next day.
Delhi to Mundi. Yeah, it was an experience of a lifetime. I think when you get the steam and the spa together, riding a bike. So we started very early morning, but the ride was, I think, high temperature ride. I'll always remember it.
Delhi to Mundi was fantastic. I really enjoyed the sun, that heat, that dirt, that smoke, that carbon dioxide which I was smoking and inhaling from other bikers since I was at the last in the convoy. That made my day.
It was pure torture. Most horrible experience from Delhi to Mundi. There was a time in between after we left Ropar, that air-conditioned restaurant we had lunch at, Haveli or something, and the air conditioning was really good. And then coming out of that and sitting on the motorcycle and then riding for the next 2 hours was sheer hell. Sure. I would never want to do it ever again.
Okay, Delhi to Mundi was as expected. I think we should have done that maybe in 12 hours time. We took a longer duration. I think heat was a factor and obviously we had to take a lot of breaks. So मेरे को बाइक से मतलब राइड से कोई इशू नहीं था. It was heat factor was there, but then obviously we all knew कि ये रहेगा. It was a good ride. Yeah.
अरे बैठो इसमें, करो इसको. हाँ, अभी आने दो सबको आने देना यार. देव सर को डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन नहीं देना क्या?
चलो आ जाओ. मैं कौन सा?
बैठ जाओ, पहले सेटल कर लो अपने आप को, जो एंगल शाबाश. अभी क्या करना है?
The next morning, they were all set to enter Zanskar Valley.
इनफैक्ट मुझे तो ज़्यादा अच्छी सांस आ रही है.
Himalayan because one is I can take it many places, and secondly because a Royal Enfield can be fixed anywhere, and other motorcycles, it's not easy to get them fixed. So I'm always petrified about motorcycle breaking down in some interior place and me getting stuck there. You can stand on it. It's got a very comfortable seating position for touring. This trip is like 1400 kilometers on road and 600-700 kilometers kind of without tarmac, or maybe not so much, but yeah, enough without tarmac. So with the Himalayan you can do both, right? You can do tarmac well and off-road, or non-tarmac well as well.
I like the sitting posture. I am not a speed guy. I think it lets me go wherever I want. That's about it. So, be it a road, be it no road, I think it makes it so. I'm loving it.
It works. I think it's an honest motorcycle with no pretensions. Inexpensive to buy, inexpensive to maintain and run. And it is very common. You don't attract undue attention as you would if you had a bigger bike or a more fancy bike. So it just works. It's the perfect tool for what we do. Yeah.
Why Binali?
What do you mean by that?
Like,
What do you mean by that? Are you trying to tell me that Benelli sucks?
not at all.
Choose your next words very, very carefully. Benelli is because I always wanted to have Himalayan, but when I rode Himalayan, I liked Himalayan. But since I'm never riding alone, I'm always riding with my wife. Himalayan does not give me that punch, especially if I have a pillion with me. That's why Benelli.
Because I couldn't afford anything else. Jokes apart, I think it's a great lot of value for money. It can take you everywhere, it does the job, and it's a great platform. You can really turn it into something else. Like, I won't call my Himalayan a Himalayan anymore actually, because everything that could be changed has been changed, and it allows you that freedom to change every part and really use what you feel like. So I think customizable, affordable, good value for money, and very, very exciting.
Firstly, I was highly advised that to all my friends, who are my biker friends. But I would say main reason, what I feel now in hindsight, is that it's a very capable bike. It can do a lot. I really like the balance of it. Like I've ridden maybe not too many different bikes. Whichever other ones that I have, I don't feel like I can do as much as I can do with it. It gives me a sense of power. I like standing on it. The maneuverability of the bike is very good. And also I've started going on the customization parts, so trying to work on the suspension and stuff like that. So yeah, it allows for that. Like some of the other, maybe the more expensive brands will not give that kind of that option of change. So you can modify the bike to what you want to modify it, what suits your taste or your needs.
They reached Pune and stayed at a local homestay. No shit, no shower, only full power.
तेरे साथ हो जाएंगे खत्म तुझे कितना जाने लगे हम तुझे कितना जाने लगे हम
और शबाब आहिस्ता आहिस्ता नहीं समझे शबाब मीन्स मेच्योरिटी ब्यूटी शबाब धीरे धीरे मेच्योरिटी ब्यूटी आई लेकिन हया जो जखलक ताके भैंस क्या बहुत दिन से ताक लगाए बैठा हुआ था सडनली पर्दा कर लिया जवान होने लगे जब वो तो हमसे कर लिया पर्दा हया अखलाक आई और शबाब आहिस्ता आहिस्ता
As she stood in the doorway of the mission I was thinking to myself this could be heaven or this could be hell she lit out a candle she showed me the way this corridor I thought I heard them say welcome to the autumn California
Pune I will cherish for the life. I think it's many reasons. One, the destination to reach Pune in the middle of nowhere, a small 3 houses kind of a setup while they were doing homestay and there were people living there. To me, that whole realization that there's a life in those mountains sustaining and supporting people who are traveling is one which will stay very close. The house we lived in, I think was a very basic house. I've never stayed in a house like that. Made of mud. I think there was wooden bars in the ceiling. I think they were using resources that were available around them, right? They were a very unique experience. Of course, I think from a city, we are used to some levels of basic expectations which would not be met. But to me, while that was a shock, but as I lived in there, that's a memory I will always carry. Mornings are always interesting, right? For the people who can go in the wild, it was easier. For the ones who were not going into the wild, it was a unique experience. So I would say it was a different experience. Would I want to do it again? Maybe not. But if I have to do it again, I think I'll be more prepared. So to me, it's part of the whole experience.
Pune was a very interesting experience. I couldn't sleep the first night properly in Pune. And the reason I couldn't sleep the first night is I was thinking all night about my morning duties, how I'm going to carry them out. So just the anxiety of being able to get a good crap in the morning and whether that will be possible or not was just simply too much for me. But if you take that out, I thought Pune was excellent. I really loved, the whole setting. I loved the time we had in the evenings there, sitting outside. I loved the time we had in their kitchen. So it was great. I mean, I guess anyone who comes there must be just prepared with this toilet thing. Otherwise, it's fantastic.
Pune actually was very special because I used to trek before and I used to stay in homestays like this before. And for last 5-6 years, I was not trekking, and staying in a homestay like that actually recalled those old memories. And apart from that, also to the family which was supporting us and helping us stay there, because it's in the middle of nowhere and they have a small house where they are accommodating everyone who is coming over there. Pune actually is, I would say it was the highlight of this trip for me.
For me, it is not something which is very new, कि ऐसी locations पे रहना or to survive out there. So that is what I have been doing all through my life also. So it was something, yes, I had not anticipated that to be the way it was. But then, yes, anticipation of a homestay was that we will be all staying in a large room, maybe with single mattresses for everybody. And yeah, as far as the other factor was concerned, तो मेरे को लगता था कि yes, there would be open fields where we will have to go and relieve ourselves. This was my expectation out of it. But then, yeah, I think it was a very different kind of an experience. I had never had that kind of an experience before. But good, if you have people in your team with whom you can communicate well, and then I think all these things doesn't matter at all.
Pune, first impressions were like, where the fuck have we reached? Are we really going to stay here? And when we entered into that corridor, I was reminded of Game of Thrones. And when we saw that bathroom, that lady was going through this small little thing, showing us this is your bathroom. Dave had made quite a few jokes about it at the time. But yeah, I was totally transported back. So I think initially we were all very shocked. But then when we sort of settled into the place, it really it flipped a few switches for good, and sort of really made you realize what a different axis these guys are living on as far as just surviving every day is concerned. They don't really have any other agenda. They just have to survive and get through the day.
Pune was very unexpected. Let's just put it as that. When I walked into the room, and especially the washroom, it was like, wow, okay, this is really going to happen. And there was no other option. It's not like we had an option of doing something else in that place. So it was more like, I think within a few minutes it was acceptability, saying, ठीक है, यही है, इसी से काम चलाना पड़ेगा. But I think it was quite an experience, in spite of how little there was there in terms of facilities and all of that. So there was really nothing, right? There was no facility. But I think it was such a memorable time for all of us. The evenings that we had over there, we sat with the family inside the kitchen, playing the guitar with that old gentleman who was there. He was also having a nice time. Then the second evening when we were sitting there, when we had all these other foreigners who would come and they were sitting with us, just knowing that even with less, you can have a great time, and then it makes you realize that you don't really necessarily need luxuries for happiness. Happiness is just in a moment, in a piece of time, people that you're with, the experiences that you share. That's real happiness. And the rest of the stuff it's there, but it's like it doesn't mean anything. I think in the larger scheme of things. So for me, that meant a lot, and I think came back. I think maybe like a slightly more better person for it. Maybe enjoying the smaller things in life. The little things that really count and really matter. So yeah, I think for me that's what Pune did.
I was expecting it. It's not that no, because I've done this before, and I've also gone through it for the first time, and I've seen others also go through it for the first time. But it's always the first time which is difficult. Once you've gone through it, then it's a matter of choice. Then you can say कि ऐसा करना है या नहीं करना है, but you have already gone through it already, so you know what it is. उससे पहले, before having gone through it, it is more of apprehension rather than a decision that you take out of awareness. So I was expecting it, and it was very normal. It's very perfect, very normal.
Next morning, they went on a hike to Futkal Monastery. It was time to hit the road again towards the next destination, Padam.
और क्या नहीं हर्ष जगह प्रिया है
See, this is what I wanted to do. So I was traveling to Jaipur on work. I was in the Shatabdi Express at that point in time when the message came from Dev in that mad group. Yeah, Zanskar, we are planning. So otherwise, I would have given a call to my wife. I would have gone through the entire rigor of asking my mom that whether should I go for this or not, whether you're okay or not. But then spontaneously at that point in time, I took the decision that I have to do this. There is no other way. I can't do this. I have to go. तो मैंने किसी से पूछा नहीं. उस टाइम पे मैंने किसी से पूछा नहीं और मैंने शताब्दी से ही फटाफट से यस बोल दिया. फिर बॉस का मैसेज आया कि राजेश, मैंने कहा आई विल कंफर्म, ऐसा कुछ मैंने शायद लिखा था. बट देन ही सेड कि व्हाट वुड इट टेक यू टू कंफर्म. मैंने कहा जस्ट माय बाइक. देन बाला सेड कि इट्स अ पीच ऑफ द इंजन, ये ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला, बाइक का कोई इशू नहीं रहेगा. आई सेड ओके, आई विल गो.
They stayed in Padam for the next 2 days, and here's what all they explored. It was time to complete the last stretch of Zanskar Valley. Destination for the day, Leh.
Face without any name, a hero wrapped in shame, a soul that is rejected by a world of judgment. And the sun begins to fade, while the moon ignites my flame. A symphony of everything I wish could change.
All good?
Sorry, man.
All okay? Good.
I think fall fuck.
चलो अब उसको आने दो, फिर उठाएंगे.
So I'm making a final whip, no more sorrow. In my dreams I couldn't be anything. Do we understand the suffering we bring? Paint the shadows on my past, dream that angels sing.
हाई पॉइंट इसमें ये था, एक तो सेंस ऑफ अचीवमेंट बहुत स्ट्रांग है इस राइड के बाद, something which you had always dreamt of and you were able to pull it out. So I think that is one. Second is कि I can't express it in words, but you get that feeling of that you are nothing in front of nature when you go through those. जानस्कार का इतना हमने वो किया, ऑफ रोड किया, सब कुछ किया, बिगर सब कुछ देखा हमने, अलग अलग मोनेस्ट्रीज देखी हमने, So I think we are just nothing in front of everything. So whatever egos we have, whatever we carry in our mind, it is just nothing in front of what we have achieved. यही मेरा high point है.
Every day. I think, every day has been high. Zanskar Valley route, I think we thought today is the high, and the next day the high went up. Right. So of course we reached the highs of the passes, which was quite elevating feeling. But the fact that we conducted ourselves so well in high altitude, right? I was so worried as I signed up for this ride that will I be able to hold on and do things, not just be out of breath. I think it's been absolutely each and every point. Be it Pune, be it the ride from there, the ride up that Mount Mitti wala 7 kilometer ride. Each of that was.
Yeah, I think there were many high points. I really enjoyed, the mountains, the entire Zanskar Valley. Really enjoyed it. Fuktar Kompa was excellent. But I think if I just think about it, the last 20 minutes as we descended from before we hit Lama Yuru, the last 20 minutes when we rode through the gorges and the vertical walls literally, and very thin mountain pass for us to ride through from I would say from Futoskar to Lama Yuru, but just that 15-minute section before Lama Yuru was just amazing. I haven't seen anything like that in India. And anything like that in Ladakh also so far actually. It was one of a kind. But this trip has given me a lot of confidence. Like, अब Zanskar Valley में 4 days off-road में motorcycle चला लिया तो शायद कहीं भी चला लेंगे. Somebody said it's like a PhD in motorcycling, and seems like we've got that PhD without going to school properly. So yeah, certainly look forward to doing more of this kind of things.
I would have never imagined that, considering I'm only 6 months old and riding a bike, that I would have gotten all the way to Zanskar. Like, I was planning to do a road trip in a car to Leh Ladakh this year. So from there to going on a bike to Zanskar was like this next level. So for me, that was just kick-ass.
I have started to realize, particularly after this ride, that there's much more out there as far as things to do and see is concerned. Where we spend a lot of our lives just in one little hole, but not realizing that there's so much more out there which if you start to experience, you start to synergize with the whole sort of ecosystem that you're a part of. And I think that's very important to experience.
It's just such a amazing experience. I think the vulnerability that comes with doing things like this, I think you discover like more and more of yourself the more vulnerable you are, and this puts you in that space, I think it brings out lots of thoughts and ideas and fears and questions, and also makes you really I think question life in many ways, that what are you really living for?
And that's how their Zanskar journey ended. From Leh, they reached Keelong, and from there, they descended towards Delhi.
I think I want to buy one more motorcycle. I'm excited about the Himalayan 450 being launched. I plan to continue to have both of these motorcycles. My wife Ganga, if she starts to ride, she can ride the second one. I would like to go for some rides with her and maybe bring her to some of these rides as well. Because one of the things that I feel on these rides is I wish I could share it with more people, like my kids and my family. So yeah, maybe buy another motorcycle. And there's one ride that I want to do, which is Perimeter of India ride. It's probably going to take 45 days, like all around the perimeter. It would include places like this, like the highway that we rode from the Kargil to Ladakh. That's kind of perimeter. So yeah, look forward to doing that.
There are two destinations. One is Sikkim and the other one is Spiti Kaza circuit. Let's see. Maybe if I get chance in January, I will do Spiti Kaza circuit because I want to do it in winter. If I do not, then in the summers.
मेरा और अभी का प्रोग्राम बन रहा है, September, October का, maybe for October का, obviously once he's back. So we might go for a Rajasthan complete 10 days kind of a tour. उदयपुर, माउंट आबू, जैसलमेर, एक सर्किट बना लेंगे, रूट मैप बना लेंगे, निकल पड़ेंगे उसके ऊपर.
I think we're planning something towards Srinagar. That should be exciting. I don't think it's going to be as extreme as far as terrain is concerned when you compare it to Zanskar. But it's still very beautiful, and that should be an exciting one. I've never been that side, so yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully this Srinagar trip that we're planning to Tulel Valley, that'll be quite amazing. I've been that side, but I've been that side in a car. And I mean, after we came back from Zanskar, for me in my head it was that would be like a really, really nice spot because of the whole off-roading conditions that are there. It's probably not going to be the same as Zanskar, but a different type, and very, very picturesque, very beautiful.
I would like to explore Upper Mustang. Not because not many people have gone there, but because it has a lot of, not because not many people have gone there, but because of that place has a lot of enigma in terms of people, faith, culture. Very little is known about that place. So that's about it. Yeah, explore Upper Mustang.
इन उम्र से लंबी सड़कों को, इन उम्र से लंबी सड़कों को मंजिल पे पहुंचते देखा नहीं, बस दौड़ती फिरती रहती है, हमने तो ठहरते देखा नहीं, इस अजनबी से शहर में जाना पहचाना ढूंढता है, ढूंढता है, ढूंढता है, इस शहर में रात में और दोपहर में आबुदाना ढूंढता है, आशियाना ढूंढता है, एक अकेला इस शहर में.
Isn't this a Zanskar song?
बॉस मतलब उसके अंदर से वो पकड़ लिया ना जो आपने एक, वो बढ़िया था.
मजा आ गया इस राइड के अंदर. इट वाज लिटरली अमेजिंग एंड मतलब भैंस की आंख हो गई है, मतलब क्लियरली, मतलब ठीक है ना. इट वाज गुड.
भैंस की आंख.
भैंस की आंख. If you are emotional, भैंस की आंख, ये क्या हो गया? And if you are sad, भैंस की आंख. Fuck. That's it.
भैंस की आंख.
भैंस की आंख.
भैंस की आंख.
भैंस की आंख.
एक अकेला इस शहर में रात में और दोपहर में आबोदाना ढूंढता है, आशियाना ढूंढता है, एक शहर में, रात में और दोपहर में साबुदाना ढूंढता है, आशियाना ढूंढता है, एक अकेला इस शहर में।